Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to another Panda Reaccs.
Welcome. And happy Thanksgiving to those of you who celebrate. Ooh,
Yay.
this is a very pretty color.
To those Americans who have nothing better to do than to listen to us.
There really shouldn't be very many of you, I would very sincerely hope. I mean, you know, it's annoying enough to listen to me, like, normally, but, like, have fun with your family. This is a very pretty nail polish color. These are all really pretty.
All right. Do you remember what happened last time in Worm?
Um, yes. Mannequin tagged out after getting his ass handed to him. His cracked porcelain pasty ass handed to him by Bug Girl and crew. And what's his fire? Burn Scar.
Burn
I want
Scar.
to be like, was it Firebird? I'm getting like the nine mixed up. It's like Firebird.
Firebird.
It's Firebird and
Shatter
Saw.
Scar.
Sawberian.
Sawberian. Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah, Sawberian.
I have a color like this already. I can't get it. It's really pretty.
Uh, Jaso says Thanksgiving was last month. Maybe for you.
Huh? Jason, are you Canadian?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, that makes sense. I think I have a couple of mutuals on Twitter who are Canadian who are just like, yay, it's Thanksgiving. Yeah. Okay. Well,
All right. Well, let's
I
get started.
remembered. I answered the question right. Do I get a prize?
Yes, you get more worm.
Can I have a prize on top of that one?
Well, we'll figure something out.
I demand pie.
You already got pie.
Yeah, I know. We'll have pie
We have a
later.
nice big apple pie.
Courtesy of my boss.
Yeah. All right. Well, Snare 13.4.
Here.
Bad, 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 bad. Burnt Scar stood with Mannequin just behind her,
Who
sporting.
was saying bad, bad, bad? Is that
Those are in italics. That's Taylor. Those are her thoughts. Burnt Scar stood with Mannequin just behind her,
sorry?
sporting a red shirt and black jeans, cigarette burns running down her cheeks, and a dead look in her eyes.
Wait, what was she wearing?
Red shirt, black jeans,
And then cigarette scars going down her face.
cigarette burns running down her cheeks.
Metal. That is an awesome character design. I fucking love it. I mean, I guess cigarette burns are a little, they don't look very good. But like these little that you have like small circular like burn marks going all down your cheeks. Like that is fucking metal, girl. That is metal. I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, though I know you're not exactly a fashionista here, but this idea of like, I'm actually kind of picturing her wearing like a leather jacket of some sort. Like,
I don't remember if she was.
I know. I'm just,
but I could imagine
I'm just
it.
saying that's what I would put with this.
Yeah.
Okay, dude, that is awesome. I should cosplay this bitch.
Bitch grew serious, bastard and I stood a dozen feet away, walls of flame like bonfires, barring our escape routes to the rear or sides. Droplets of rain fell all around us, making ripples on the inch-high water that flooded the street.
Okay. So it's raining. Maybe you're not completely dead.
The air was thick with the smell of smoke. We'd at least had time to mentally prepare for the idea of facing Mannequin. My strategy had been last minute, but I'd been in the right frame of mind to fight a tinker, to anticipate ambush and tackle someone with decent offensive abilities, strong defenses, and a crap ton of tricks up his sleeve. Burnscar had flipped things on us. She was in a totally different ballpark from Mannequin. If I had to guess, her offensive capabilities were top-notch, even if they didn't break the scales like some other members of the Nine. I couldn't even guess where she fit on the spectrum of defensive ability, but she'd been with the Nine for a little while, and she was still alive, so that was some indication. And utility? She had every trick a pyrokinetic-like lung had at his disposal, and she could teleport through flames as well, opening up a mess of tricks and avenues of attack.
That's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool, isn't it?
That's pretty cool. Yeah. That's awesome.
Happy now? She asked Gru. Not so much. Burn
Who
Scar's
says happy now?
Burn Scar.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay.
Burn Scar's voice was flat, without humor, like an actor reading the lines from a script without actually emoting them.
You read that wrong.
No. I think I read that correct. The following I'm reading is going to be flat.
All right.
Don't criticize me. I might have read that wrong.
I criticize everyone. I criticize myself all the time. It's why I have crippling self-esteem issues.
I am following the rules now. Let's see. Trying to remember how this is supposed to go. Test you pass or fail, and then I kill you.
None of that's flat. You read this like you're Lisa.
Okay. I'm sorry. Sorry for my acting abilities.
No, it's not. I'm just saying, like, if you're gonna read it flat, just read it flat, like this.
Alright. You only kill bitch if she fails, I said. Opening my mouth was more automatic than intentional. The majority of my focus was on a current situation. Options. What avenues of attack did we have? What about self-defense or escape? I had my pepper spray. My knife and baton were available too, though I doubted my ability to dish out more hurt than I suffered in an exchange of hits with Burn Scar.
You're already like, I think she's got a few cracked ribs, I think, right?
Oh.
From the sound of it.
Yeah.
I mean, she keeps like, there's been a lot of like, my ribs, my ribs, my ribs. I'm like, so she's probably broken a few ribs at this point. Good luck, girl. I'll be rooting for you.
Gru had his darkness, and both of the remaining dogs were in okay shape. I had my bugs, but neither my costume nor my bugs would do well against the flame. I can still kill Tall, Dark, and Eerie, and the alien girl, Burnscar said. Bug girl, I corrected.
Sing song. That's sing song tone.
Okay. Don't really care. Bitch, the test is an old one, but it's good. We don't get to do it often enough because it requires research. Got to do it with Cherish because she gave us the necessary info. Wasn't very bright, but she did. Now that she's on the team, she can give us all the info we need. You talk too much, bitch snarled. Get to the point or go the fuck away.
If I had a quarter for every time I wanted to say that to somebody.
You're going to have to face your greatest fear. Destroy any hold it has on you with violence, blood, and death. I don't want you to just conquer your fears. I want you to murder them.
You know, this is kind of a test that Panda would pass pretty well these days.
Oh, really now?
I'm just saying.
All right, I want you to murder them before anyone else can use your feelings for them against you. She put a special inflection.
Murder the person. You mean?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought it was like murder your fears. And I was just like, I can do that. Watch me set fire to like...
Yeah, I was a little concerned there, to tell you the truth. I was like, oh, Panda can murder someone? All right, well...
Sorry, I'm very tired. I zonked out for like a second. I was like, oh, wait, never mind. See, I can murder my fears. I can murder my fears. Like, you know, in the whole, like, what am I afraid of? I guess you can't murder height. I hate grasshoppers. If you were to give me, like, a blowtorch, if you were to, like, set a plague of locusts on me and you were to give me a blowtorch, I would be a very happy panda. Murder my fears? Yes! Look, I have a very simple rule when it comes to fears. If it is something that you can kill, there is no reason to be afraid of it. If it is something you cannot kill, run! Run like a little bitch!
Not sure if I want you to have a blowtorch.
You know, I used one at work today.
I guess so.
We use miniature blowtorches to melt wax for dental things.
We just live in, we live in California, is all I'm saying.
And it's rained recently.
Okay, all right.
Listen, let me have my blowtorch fantasies, okay?
Okay. Blowtorches and grasshoppers, got it.
Grasshoppers are horrible. I'm just saying, getting to like murder a bunch of grasshoppers with like a blowtorch just sounds very satisfying.
Sounds
you know what else I would like to torch? I think I have like, you remember like I got some like very like email. You remember I got some email communications from some really terrible, like back and forth from some really terrible job things. Yeah, if I had physical, I remember like I think there were some like physical copies of like mail that came with like last paychecks and things like that. I think I actually literally set one of those on fire because I was upset.
Yeah.
And then I put out the fire because our apartment was small and it was getting smoky. I was disappointed.
Yeah.
But it was fun while it lasted watching it burn. Pandas, you know, yeah, maybe you should be concerned. I'm fine.
Okay. You're fine.
I'm fine.
I'm sure you're fine.
I'm fine.
I believe you.
I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm absolutely fine.
All right. I'm going to keep going. She put a special inflection on the word murder, making it clear she was being quite literal. I expected Bitch to say something along the lines of, I'm not afraid of anything. She didn't. Her eyes narrowed. I'm not going to fucking hurt my dogs. Not asking you to. Dogs are easy. Replaceable. Sure, you might cry when they bite the dust. You love them. The lack of inflection or emotion in Burnscar's voice.
The lack of inflection or
I'm
emotion.
sorry, okay?
Sorry, I'm just saying.
I'm sorry I have too much emotion.
Just pretend you're me. Just be dead. Just pretend you're me after a long day of work and you're like deadpan.
All right. The lack of inflection or emotion in Burnscar's voice made the words sound almost mocking. It's sweet, but that hole in your heart mends. Time heals the wound. You get more dogs and you bounce back.
Okay, let me try reading for this. Come on. I want to try.
All right, fine. Go for it. Yeah, okay. Go.
Where?
We're here.
Yeah. It's sweet, but that hole in your heart mends. Time heals the wound. You get more dogs and you bounce back.
I think you're underestimating how much she loves her dogs, I said. A wound like that never heals. Bitch turned her head just enough to give me a hard look.
I'm not saying she doesn't.
Burnscar shrugged.
I'm saying the idea of losing them isn't what scares them the most, so forget the dogs. I'm not asking you to hurt them, maim them, murder them, or anything like that.
Bitch glanced at Bastard. He was growling, barely audible, low and steady, and his hackles were raised. Were they still hackles if they were mostly fragments of calcified muscle and bone spikes?
Kill them,
Burnscar said. She pointed at Gru and I. Bitch laughed, if you could call it that. It was more of a snort with zero humor to it. That's supposed to be my biggest fear? I don't give two shits about them.
Oh my god, bitch. Bitch, please.
You do. They're the closest thing to a human connection you've had your entire life. Maybe you haven't thought it out loud to yourself, but you're terrified at the idea of losing them. You know as well as anyone else that this relationship with your team, it's like winning the lottery for you. Bitch scoffed. Sure, it's shitty as relationships go, Burnscar continued. Anyone else would find it depressingly lame, but they're the best you'll get. The best you can hope for because you're fucked up. Believe me.
I know when someone's fucked up.
Like I said, you talk too much.
They're the best you'll ever get, and according to Cherish, you're losing them. Whatever bond you made with them is fucked up now. Maybe you did it. Maybe them. Maybe both. But dying a slow death, dog girl. Rip off the bandage and finish off these losers who aren't going to be your friends in a few weeks anyway. Do it, and I let you and your dogs walk away.
Why the fuck should I listen to you?
Because if you say no, if you try to run or walk away, if you attack me, I'll consider your test a fail.
So?
I'll have no reason to hold back. Your team dies, your dogs die, and you'll wish you were dead.
Fuck you, bitch retorted, but she glanced at Gru and I. And I could have sworn I saw doubt. Was it indecision? The way Burnscar had framed this, bitch either had to admit she cared about us and fight for our sake, or bitch could attack us to secure her safety and her dogs. I couldn't say which road she'd take, not with any kind of certainty. My gut told me it wouldn't be the answer I wanted. She's considering it. Which meant I had to take matters in my own hands. Burnscar held the advantage, and bitch was leaning her way. I needed to flip things and take that certainty away from her.
Woo! Flip it, girl!
I drew from the capsaicin-treated bugs in my armored compartment. There hadn't been any point in using them against Mannequin. but they might incapacitate Burnscar. The trick was catching her off guard.
I don't know. Is she gonna notice the capsaicin-laced bugs? Because, she's already, like, on fire and stuff.
I guess she's not on fire right now.
Yeah.
You're doing it wrong, Rue said. What? Did you even read the rules Jack gave us? Yes, Burnscar frowned. I did. Then why are you doing it differently than he did? Gru pointed at Mannequin. He was buying us time, using Mannequin's inability to talk and Burnscar's less than firm grasp to throw her off her stride. He didn't know it, but he'd also provided me with a distraction. My capsaicin-laced bugs made their way down my back and the backs of my legs. Near the surface...
Gross.
Near the surface of the shallow water, they spread out, sticking to shadows, the cover of burning rubbish and the darkness that swirled around Gru. Doing it differently? This isn't that complicated, Burnscar said. How's it going to look if you do it wrong? I imagine Mannequin's going to get punished for fucking up, Gru said. But he at least tried. If you screw up here right at the beginning, you really think your team is going to be impressed? No, they're going to be embarrassed. And I bet they'll take it out on the person who embarrassed them.
Ooh.
Mannequin tapped on Burnscar's shoulder. She turned, and he parted his mouth slightly before drawing an X over it with one finger. Mannequin says you're lying. Crap. My bugs weren't in position to attack yet. You really going to gamble on that? Gru asked. Yeah, Burnscar said. The flames around us swelled in size. I had no time left for subtlety. I gave the order for my bugs to attack directly, closing the distance by the fastest and most obvious routes available.
Woo.
They rose from every corner and shadow in the area,
approaching
Burnscar from every direction. I directed them towards the exposed skin of her hands, ankles, face, and neck. The second they landed, they bit, stung and clawed at her. I even felt a few touch her face. Then I felt her move. For an instant, I thought she had some kind of enhanced strength or speed that let her throw herself to one side like she did. Except it wasn't her. It was Mannequin that moved, throwing her to one side, so she landed in the midst of a flaming pile of trash. The bug...
Right, yeah, that's right where you belong, bitch! Lie down! Stay down! In the trash where you belong!
The bugs on her were burnt to a crisp, and she promptly disappeared. Run! Gru shouted. Bitch hauled on Bastard's chain, shouting, Go! She climbed halfway onto Sirius' back, unable to climb up higher with her injured leg. Gru and I followed, as Bastard crashed into one of the walls of flame, sending burning trash flying and spreading out the flaming water. Bitch rode Sirius through the break, and Gru and I hurried after. Hot. I stumbled as the heat built. I was supporting Gru as best as I was able, with the pain in my ribs protesting even the slightest movements of my arm, let alone trying to support a nearly grown teenage boy. The heat of the flames increased. I think we could have made it if it was just 1 or 2 steps, but it wasn't. 5 paces failed to carry us out of the flames. We were too slow to keep up with Bastard and make use of the way he was scattering the flames for us. I fell in the same moment we finally got free of the flames, and Gru fell with me. There wasn't fire underneath us, but I could still feel the heat, intense, accompanied by a blinding pain. I was on fire.
Oh!
The water was too shallow to extinguish the fires as they licked around us, and even rolling in it failed to do anything substantial.
Oh, so much for stop, drop, and roll.
Gru smothered us in darkness. I'd fought alongside him before. I'd been under the effects of his power countless times, but this was different. I was hurting, I wanted to find solutions, and now I couldn't see. I couldn't even use my swarm sense to assess the situation, because the flames Burnscar had spread around the area were limiting my bug's movements. Our enemies, Mannequin and Burnscar, were similarly out of my reach. I felt a swelling panic as I thrashed, trying to immerse myself.
Immerse yourself in what?
I think in the water?
Right.
I felt something heavy on top of me, then 3 quick taps on my shoulder. A signal? Gru. I didn't fight him as he used what must have been his jacket to pat me down and splash water onto me. I felt the water touch bare skin.
Ouch.
The pain and the heat continued as Gru hauled me to my feet, but the rational part of me knew he wouldn't do that if I was still on fire. I was burned. It hurt, but I wasn't in imminent danger from anything or anyone except burn scar and mannequin.
Yeah, okay. Okay, sure. That's like saying, like, yeah, like, everything's fine, except it isn't.
Using my power, I found difficulty at every turn. Everywhere I sent my bugs, I encountered fire. I felt like a blind person tapping their cane around to get a sense of the surroundings, encountering only danger, destruction. A picture was gradually unfolding, and it was an ugly one. We ran, Gru leading the way. We fell 4 times. My legs and back were burned. Gru had his injured leg, and we were running slightly downhill. He was clutching my shoulders hard enough that it hurt, and leaning heavily on me with every other step, while my legs had none of the strength needed to support him. When we moved past the darkness, we were standing in the midst of the shattered boardwalk. We half slid and half climbed down the ruined area to the beach, and walked over to the water's edge. From our new vantage point, we could see what Burnscar had done. My territory was on fire.
Ooh.
Gru's shadow still covered the ground levels of the area, but I could make out the tops of the taller buildings. Not every building burned, but there were enough. Rain fell around us, but it wouldn't matter against a blaze like that. In the gloom, the plumes of smoke that were as thick around as any building appeared black against the light gray backdrop of gray rain clouds. "Come on, Taylor," Gru said. He tried to pull me to my feet, and I didn't move. "We can deal with all that later. Right now, we've just got to get away. We survive." "Survive," I muttered.
Got a point.
I'd been prepared to die against Mannequin if it meant removing one monster from the world. It was a pretty good indication of how much I valued my life at these days.
Girl, relate.
I'd cut ties with my dad, dropped out of school, hoped to get Lung arrested, and started a chain of events that had led to the ABB terrorizing tens of thousands of people. I'd served as a distraction so a power-hungry supervillain could kidnap a girl and keep her drugged up in some underground cell for months. I'd stood by to let a man die. I'd become a full-fledged villain, pledged to protect people and then let them die horribly. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. What the hell had I been thinking, wanting to become a superhero?
Well, you might want to give yourself just a little more credit. It's kind of a tough situation that you keep finding yourself in. And also, just a reminder, you are a teenager.
Yeah. Oh, she's taking on so much for herself, huh?
Yeah, kinda. I mean, I've done that before. Yeah, wasn't good. Girl, you're a teenager. Cut yourself some slack. Like, I don't remember exact details, but I almost want to say, like, I feel like Taylor has been, like, manipulated and, like, used a lot. The thing is, she's a teenager.
Manipulated and used a lot.
Like, I feel like Coil or maybe, like, some of the other stuff. I can't remember.
I guess you could say, well, would you say Tattletale is manipulating her? No? Yes? No?
It's a tough one, and I don't want to answer because I really like that ship.
Uh-huh. Do you think Coil's manipulating her?
Okay, maybe not. I don't know. I don't remember enough to. Okay, I don't remember enough to comment on this, but I just feel like she can't really like take the blame for all of this. It's not exactly her fault that the Slaughterhouse 9 came, right?
Yeah, right.
It's not her fault that Leviathan showed up.
Mm-hmm.
It's not her fault that she even got powers to begin with.
Yeah.
This whole story is, well, to sum it up, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. That's this story.
I guess the way I might want to put it is that Taylor might not be blameless, but she's blaming herself for way too much.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. "Come on," Gru urged me. I stood, leaning against the concrete wall that divided the beach from the street above. "Genesis is going to be there," I said. "We need to go find her and help her." "We're too hurt to do anything," Gru answered. "Genesis can handle herself. She can always make a new body with her powers." And her real body? She had it sent to my lair. Gru paused. Your lair could be on fire. Exactly. He considered for a few moments. All right, just let me call bitch. Don't. I stopped him as he got his phone in hand. What? A call at the wrong time, her ringer going off, it could mean alerting the enemy about her position or distracting her. Wait. He nodded, and we ran. Gru was letting his darkness dissipate.
Oh, bitch is gonna be mad at you when, like, finds out you guys ran off and left her. She's gonna kill you!
For the most part, as we were undercover and out of the way. We made our way to the storm drain, using the wall for support. We headed through the secured doors and into my cellar, then up the stairs to the main floor. My lair wasn't burning down, but I could see the faint flicker of flame on nearby buildings through the slits on the shutters. A quick investigation with my power showed that it wasn't anything serious. I set the bugs in place as an early warning system. We headed straight for the bedrooms. I wasn't expecting to see what I did.
Okay, go on. Sorry. I'm sorry.
We headed like, straight for the bedrooms.
Lol. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Right. What did she not expect to see? Is there a dead body in there? Are there 2 dead bodies in there?
There must have been
people fucking in there.
There must have been 15 of them. Kids, none of them older than 10, some as young as 4. There were 3 to a bunk, sitting up or lying down. Charlotte was with them, the eldest. Don't be mad, she said in a small voice. Mad? She spoke quietly, as if the kids wouldn't hear. I didn't know where else to take them. Sierra said we had to hide, that Mannequin was coming. I saw him killing people without even moving. He went after families, but he was focused on the parents, not the kids. He killed them and let the kids run. Stop. My voice was harder than I meant it to be. I don't want to hear it. This is my failure. I didn't know where else to take them. You did good, I said. I sounded like Fernscar did. No emotion behind the words. Someone else should have come here. A girl or a woman, probably with an escort. Charlotte didn't answer, but moved aside. Genesis. Genesis slept on one of the bunks I'd set aside for my employees. Her face was contorted in an expression of concern. Average looks, if a little round-faced. She had long eyelashes, and her auburn hair was a mop. She had to sleep to use her power. Could we afford to disturb her? If we tried to move her and she woke up, would it mean taking her out of the middle of a fight, where she could do something to Fernscar or Mannequin? Where are the rest of my people? I asked. Sierra divided us into teams, and sent each of us in a different direction, telling us to get people to evacuate. I almost ran right into Mannequin. I hid and saw him attack. I felt taut with my power, sticking exclusively to the building interiors to avoid inadvertently barbecuing my bugs and frittering away my resources.
Get it? Because, barbecued bugs make fritters. Bug fritters.
Delicious.
Fritters. Is that what we can... Hey, this is what we call Skitter if she dies. We call her Fritter. Because she's burned. She got burned.
Excellent.
Sorry. Too soon?
No, it's fine. We'll call her Fritter when she dies of fire.
If she dies of fire. Fritter.
I used the bugs in the area to try to get a head count. The geography and the spread of people in this area was becoming familiar to me. Very few were still alive and in this area. Too many had died. How many bodies were there? 30? 40? I didn't want to think about it. Charlotte, did you come in through the front door or the other entrance? I asked. Front door. I was thinking about taking these kids and running for it, but I didn't know if you'd want... Secrecy is not that important right now. Take them down to the storm drain and stay there. It's more or less fireproof. It's not going to collapse on their heads, and it's a better hiding spot than this. It seemed like getting orders invigorated her. Okay, come on guys, get ready, shoes on, this way. The kids began to get sorted, and followed Charlotte's instructions as she herded them out of the room, staying by the door to ensure nobody was left behind. There were no complaints, and there was nothing like chatter or crying from the kids. How many of them had watched their parents die for them? They were so stoic, or shocked. Gru looked at me. What are you thinking? They take cover. We stay. I'm going to try to use my swarm to get a sense of where Genesis is and how the fight's going. The second things go south, or this area gets too dangerous, we get her out of here. You'll need this, Charlotte said. I hadn't noticed it.
Charlie?
Charlotte?
Charlotte.
Charlotte.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Charlotte said. I hadn't noticed it with all the people in the room. At the foot of the bunk, in the corner of the room, there was a folded up wheelchair. Can't ever be easy. That might complicate things if we have to run for it, Drew said. I didn't have a response to that. Charlotte left with the kids, and we took the time to manage our wounds. I headed into the ground floor bathroom to run cold water over the burns on my legs and back. Gru sat on the toilet lid and began gathering the necessary things from the first aid kit. My power found Genesis, but only briefly. She was big, some sort of flying pufferfish with a hard exterior and tentacles.
Flying pufferfish!
It was a hard image to piece together. She floated slowly over the streets, and the bugs that I had on her died as Burnscar pelted her. I tried to send some bugs after her, but she disappeared into the side of a burning building as they approached. I tried and failed to find where she teleported to. Frustrating. Whatever her destination, it was a place my bugs couldn't touch, so I had to wait for her to move away or start attacking from another vantage point. Nearly half a year ago, I'd gotten my powers when I was trapped in a locker, wanting to be anywhere but where I was then. I'd reached out, my mind extending out for something, anything, to distract me and draw my focus away. I wasn't trapped in a locker, but I felt very close to how I had then.
Ooh, are we gonna see some like power-ups now? She's like, because she's getting like re-triggered.
That would be interesting, huh?
That's usually what happens in this part of. I mean, this isn't the shonen manga, but that's usually what happens in this part of the shonen mangas.
Well, she has noticed that her power range extends
when
at certain points.
Oh,
Yeah.
You're right. Come on, bitch, level up!
Except, it wasn't the feeling that I was trapped. My power's range hadn't increased. It felt like that in a different way. We can't do this, I said. Gru had torn open his pants leg and was suturing one of the cuts. We can't endure this. We won't last. We got unlucky and took the brunt of it. We'll get a breather. Will we? These guys are experts in preying on weakness. They're gonna target us and come after us until we can't defend ourselves. They'll kill us, then they'll go after Panacea or Armsmaster or Hookwolf or Noel, and they'll do the same thing. Taylor. I pushed myself to a standing position. They're going to do the same thing they're doing to us, and they're not just going to win. They're going to ruin everything while they do it. Stop. I hobbled past him, and he grabbed my wrist. Between anger and the fact that my sleeve was wet with the water of the shower, I managed to rip my hand from his grip. Don't do that.
Yeah, it's too shippy. You can't do that.
What do you think you're going to do? I'm going out there. They're just bullies. They're powerful.
Go on, I got excited.
They're powerful. They've got every advantage, but that's all the more reason we can't let them get away with this. I'll bait them out, or find where they're hiding.
Girl, I like you when you're vengeful. Do it, girl.
I can take Burnscar down if I can get the right bugs to bite her, or sting her enough times. I just have to do something. I can't stay here and let them get away with this.
It's your trauma talking, girl.
You're so hurt you can barely walk. If they find you, you won't be able to run.
He doesn't care.
Sick of running.
What was that, girl? Can you say it a little louder? Yes. I like this, Taylor. Yes.
He stood and followed me. He got ahead of me, despite the fact that he was probably hurt worse than I was. I ducked around him, and he pushed me against the wall.
Sorry. I know that's Chip and Dale, but I'm just like, oh, this is very emotional. This is very tense. It's also very shit.
Don't do this. If you want to get revenge on those guys, if you want to help your people, you need to stop, rest, recover, and plan. I struggled briefly, but the pain in my ribs and the burn on my back made that far more trouble than it was worth. And it was already pretty futile.
You know, he's got a point. Yeah, you're pretty badly injured.
Hated this. Hated feeling weak, even if it was Gru that I was comparing myself to. My bugs alerted me to movement from Genesis. I didn't say anything to Gru and simply waited as she grabbed her wheelchair, unfolded it, and transitioned into it before wheeling out into the hallway. Did we wake you? Gru asked.
Sorry, Mommy and Daddy were just having words.
No, I can't be woken by anyone except myself if I'm like that. It's more like a coma than sleep. You were watching me? Gru and I nodded. He must have felt self-conscious because he backed off, letting go of me. I did note that he positioned himself between me and the end of the hallway. I wouldn't be able to run for the cellar or the front door without going past him. It didn't really matter. He was right. Maybe I would have gone on if he hadn't stopped me, using my anger and frustration to drive myself forward until I got myself killed. Gru and Genesis had...
He's a good friend. He's a good friend you have.
Gru and Genesis had, in their individual ways, interrupted that. I felt simultaneously angry at him and embarrassed that he'd had to stop me. What happened? I asked Genesis, trying not to look at Gru. She glanced between the two of us.
She knows. I'm sorry. I'm just saying, this is really awkward. If I'd walked on, I'd be like, very awkward, I'm gonna leave.
Realized Mannequin was using a gas. Got a form together to fight that and occupy him like you recommended. But he wasn't there when I reformed. Burnscar was. Mannequin forfeited his turn. Burnscar went up next, I explained. Ah. You managed to stop her? Gru asked. No. I wasn't prepared to fight her, but she couldn't really hurt me either. She left. Can you get a body together to fight the fires? I asked, hugging my arms against my chest. I'll try. My reserves are low. Thank you. I'm sorry I wasn't able to stop them. Gru got his phone out while Genesis retreated back to her bunk. I made my way upstairs to curl up in the armchair. So many dead because I couldn't save them. I felt doubly guilty because my reasons for regretting their death were partially selfish. It was a death blow to my plans to seize my territory, earning Coil's respect, and making inroads into saving Dina one way or another. I took off my mask and let it drop to the ground. My costume, I saw, was in tatters where it had burned.
Fire will do that. Wasn't this whole thing held up by like spider silk?
It's made entirely of spider silk and like...
That's why it burned.
Yeah. I took off my mask and let it drop. Oh, no. Our enemies were good. They were smart. Mannequin had been toying with us, and we'd taken that advantage and beat him to the ground with it. But every action was calculated. Cherish was informing them. Shatterbird was apparently smart in other ways, and Jack was the brains of the operation. Had Jack calculated things so everything would play out the way he wanted, like Mannequin was? Gru appeared at the top of the stairs. Bitch isn't replying. We should go look for her. Okay.
Because she's dead. I'm kidding, she's not dead.
You okay? Gru asked. Pissed. Me too. Though I get that you have more reason to be angry. I stopped clenching my fists. I blinked back tears. Fucking contact lenses.
Oh, right. Aww.
He wrapped his arms around me in a hug.
Oh.
My face was mashed up against his shoulder. His grip was too tight. My back was sore where his hand touched a spot near the burn. There was also that mess of awkwardness from when I confessed my feelings for him. That now seemed so minor and distant compared to everything that was going on.
Oof, this must be bad.
We'll get through this. No, I said, pulling away. Not like this, we won't. We fight them every time they come. We're going to be worn out, exhausted from always being on our guard. And if these past fights have been any indication, we won't make it through 8 rounds of this. The way you phrased that, you don't sound like you did in the shower. I shook my head. No. Because I realized Jack wants us to focus on each of his people, one by one, because he knows it's going to play out like it has so far, and that we won't make it through 8 rounds of this. Let's change that dynamic. We take out testers before they get their turn. We go on the offensive.
Yes!
Offensive? Dina said that a direct attack would be suicide. So we go for the indirect attack. If you want to play dirty, let's play dirty back.
Talking like a true villain. I will follow you to the end.
End of chapter.
Woo! Go Taylor! Go Tay! I am forever on your team. Good job. Good job.
All right.
I like the term in Taylor.
Better ending than last chapter?
Yeah, this is satisfying. It's payback time, bitches!
All right.
Get him, Tay.
That was a fun chapter.
That was very fun.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Any closing thoughts?
Fuck him up!
Fuck 'em up.
I'm so excited. Fuck him up, Tay. Fuck him up.